What is going on, guys? MMA Island team, we got the fight picks, and we've got the main event of the evening. I will leave it to Bruce Buffer because he won't mess it up like I do. And we got Jack Hermansson taking on Marvin Vettori. Wow, what a fight.
What a development.
Lot of reasons you can say what a fight, just because, first of all, we're supposed to be seeing Jack Hermansson, Darren Till, and then Darren Till gets injured, and then we're supposed to see Kevin Holland versus Jack Hermansson, and that's a crazy fight too. And then Kevin Holland gets COVID, and then Marvin Vettori steps in, and now we are just set to talk about Marvin Vettori versus Jack Hermansson. And man, again, it's just a crazy fight, just because Marvin Vettori, I think the fight to make, man. We're not talking about COVID, I think the fight to make is Jack Hermansson, Darren Till, Marvin Vettori versus Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland and Marvin Vettori have a background. They don't like each other. I think that's a great fight to make. Two guys who I hold in pretty high regard. I think those two dudes could be fighting for a title someday. Kevin Holland with a win could be fighter of the year. So it's tough. It's definitely tough. Let's get into the preview, man. Jack Hermansson, last time we saw him, Kelvin Gastelum taking on Kelvin Gastelum in the middleweight division.
Mystic Slick on that pick.
Submission, heel hook submission, man. Comes out with the heel
I
hook.
was like, I think he's going to snag him in something really tricky, really early. And what does he do? Prove me right.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Shout out to Slick. And he picked it. He picked it right, man. And then you're talking about Marvin Vettori. It always sucks, man. It always sucks seeing two fighters that I picked their last fight right, and then they have another one coming up, and it's just like,
I like both of these dudes a lot.
Me too, man. That's what sucks. And Carl Roberson and Marvin Vettori, two guys that just pretty well hated each other. I had Vettori winning it, and what do you know? Vettori goes out and wins it. So, man, so excited to see this fight. It's kind of crazy that it's 5 rounds because I don't think we'll need it, to be honest. But we'll see, man. Two dudes that are typically – so this is the thing. They're both really good on the ground, but Jack Hermansson is a very good striker, man. You can't hold anything away from Jack Hermansson. Just because this dude was knocked out by Jared Cannonier, he got knocked out by Jared Cannonier. Jared Cannonier, that dude is a beast. And, man, this is the thing that you can mention about Marvin Vettori is you can't say, oh, Marvin Vettori didn't get knocked out by Israel Adesanya. And that was a close fight, man. A lot of people even say that Marvin Vettori won that fight. And you're looking at a dominant champion right now. So, hey, this is a really telling fight here. Low confidence, I'd say, for me, again. Just because I feel like I've been saying that a lot. My high confidence picks of the night. Actually, no, I'm not going to say that because you guys could be watching it backwards. But my lock of the fight is the Topuria Jackson fight, the leave it Wyman fight. And the Evlaev Landwehr fight, and the Santos De La Rosa fight. So those are 4 high confidence picks. This is a low confidence pick, and I'm going to be taking Jack Hermansson on this one, which goes against what I'd like to talk about in one of my favorite fighters in Marvin Vettori. I interviewed him. Great dude, absolutely great dude. And this is no shot towards him because this is low confidence again, because this dude's a beast. But again, you're taking on Jack Hermansson, a guy who was slated. If he beat Darren Till, you have to put him up against like Whitaker or Cannonier next. And then if he beats Cannonier or he beats Whitaker, you have to put him in title shot. So this guy's 2-3 fights away from, or 1 or 2 fights away from a title shot. I say 2. 2 is probably the magic number. I think 1's not enough and 3 is too much. So I think he's 2 fights away from a title shot if he wins this fight. And I'm going to go with him, man. I'm going to go with him. I just think he's really, really crafty on the ground. I know people look at the 2 submissions that he's had throughout his career, Cesar Ferreira and Jason Butcher in Bellator. I think when you're looking at Marvin Vettori, his last submission win is Carl Roberson, as we saw. The last one before that, you're going back to 2016, which is 6 fights before that. So yeah, man, I'm gonna be going with Jack Hermansson on this one. The Joker. What are the odds of this one? Let's pull it up. Jack Hermansson is the underdog in this one at a 2.17 multiplier. So I may or may not throw some money on it, even though it's a low confidence pick. Got to put some value in Jack Hermansson's name, man.
Interesting.
I think regardless, whoever you're picking on this one, if you're picking them with with an educated an MMA educated mind, you should put some money on it because they're both pretty high up. Marvin Vettori is a 1.7 multiplier, so you put in $100, you walk up with 170. It's not too bad. Pass it on to Slick.
I hate this fight because it's so sick. Look, I'm not a huge I don't mind grappling in fights. Like it's a part of the game, and I'm learning more about it. You know, so but these two dudes make grappling exciting in the UFC.
Definitely.
I'm a really big Jack Hermansson fan, and every time I see Marvin Vettori getting ready for a fight, I fall in love with them all over again.
Not to cut you off here, but I think one thing that that you can say and attest to that is looking at the Jack Hermansson arm and guillotine, of course, but Marvin Vettori in his last fight with Carl Roberson to get that takedown, he elevated himself, pushed off the cage. And I might have even been Carl Roberson. The fight feels like it was so long ago, but I remember someone pushing off the cage and being like, "What?" Because it was weird because he elevated his entire body to do it. But yeah.
Well, you said Hermansson's super crafty. I agree, but I think Vettori's really crafty too, and that's a great example of it. I think that this is a really good opportunity for both of these guys to prove. How many 5-round fights has Hermansson been in?
Ones that were completed. He's been in one, and he went. That was when he went the distance with Jacare Souza.
And Vettori has never been past the third round.
Wait. Yeah. Vettori has never been to 5 rounds. He's been to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times.
Yeah,
6 of his last 7 have went 3 rounds distance.
Look, would y'all be mad if I didn't pick? I will pick. I think both of these guys are dangerous for each other. Don't be surprised if either of these dudes finishes it. Not to say while I don't think, I think the finish is going to be more important than getting finished in this fight. Because this fight's super late notice. Marvin Vettori's kind of fighting up in rank. I think that what we'll take away from this fight isn't necessarily oh, Marvin Vettori got subbed by Jack Hermansson or the other way around. But man, on 3 days notice, Marvin Vettori subbed Jack Hermansson, or whatever, or set 6 days notice or whatever it is. So I think that there's not going to be a big loser in this fight unless someone gets injured or something. But
yeah, I think that's an important thing you bring up is talking about not taking too much into play for the loser in this one. Because I think in this case, Vettori loses, you have to put him at the same place he was, just because he goes in and he's taking a huge jump up to face on Hermansson.
I mean, he gets no training camp for someone as tricky as Jack. Well, a specific training camp.
Exactly, because he was supposed to face. It's kind of an interesting scenario because shout out to Octagon Island with the memes talk about the 1-2 switcheroo with Jacare Souza and Kevin Holland. They just switched opponents. Kevin Holland set to face Hermansson, now set to face Souza, and then Vettori was set to face. Vettori was set to face Souza and now facing Hermansson. So they just swap opponents, which is really, really interesting. But that's bring up is if a fight one of these fighters loses, we shouldn't hold too much stock into it just because they're both killers. You know what I mean?
Just for the sake of different tastes, I'll take Vettori here. I think this is a great chance for him to gain back a little bit of the momentum he had from taking the champ the distance and stuff like that. I think that Marvin Vettori, I don't want to say he's the dark horse of the division, but he's always been someone who I thought man, there's not very many awful matchups for him in the entire division. I can see him being competitive with every single person in the division. So that's my take. That's my take on it. I mean, unless your name's Bill Beaumont and in the UCMMA welterweight championships in London, England in 2014, or Israel Adesanya or Shoeface, I'm not confident in this pick at all. I'd say I low-key think that Hermansson's going to win, but I'm taking Vettori from Mezza Carona, middle of my heart. No, I mean, that's not what it means, but it sounds like it could mean that. From the bottom of my heart, I'll take Vettori here, full steam ahead. I'm just really excited for these two dudes to scrap. We got an Italian versus Swede. I'm into it.
Yeah. So, and I'm working on a stat here at the moment, but I'm talking about Vittori's fight with Adesanya is he was sound defensively in that one. Accuracy, maybe not. The takedowns, he had 3 minutes of control. I know a lot of people like to say Adesanya hasn't seen a takedown savvy fighter before, and Vettori is one that he saw, and he took him down. He controlled him for a lot of the fight. Didn't really look too good standing up, but at the same time, Adesanya didn't look too good standing up. I shouldn't say that. He landed at 46%, which isn't too good for Adesanya standards. I think the people that he hasn't hit at that rate were Anderson Silva, Calvin Gastelum, Robert Whittaker, and Yoel Romero. Those four were the other four that Adesanya didn't hit at over 50% against. And Yoel Romero, obviously, there was a boring fight. Whittaker, he obviously knocked out Whittaker. Gastelum dominated. And then Anderson Silva was one of the greatest of all time. So, and you're looking at Marvin Vettori. He's on that list of what, 4? I guess you could say
of goats. Yeah, I agree. Marvin Vettori on the GOAT list. MMA Mount Rushmore.
No,
Marvin Vettori.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Marvin Vettori is on that list of guys that Adesanya did not hit at over 50%. At Anderson Silva, Calvin Gastelum, Robert Whittaker, and Yoel Romero. I did not mean to say he's one of the greatest of all time.
I was just joking.
So, yeah. So again, like as I mentioned, like Yoel Romero, boring fights, not too many strikes were thrown, so you shouldn't see it over 50%. Robert Whittaker, he knocked him out, so the under 50% doesn't really matter. Calvin Gastelum, he dominated that fight. Anderson Silva, one of the greatest of all time, and then out of nowhere, Marvin Vettori. So I like Marvin Vettori, man. I'm not holding too much stock in the loser in this fight because I like both these guys so much. Got to go with the crafty vet, I guess you could say. Yeah, like he hasn't been in the UFC too long.
Well, check this out. I think that a sneak peek into this is Jack Hermansson's unorthodox strike, because you said he's a really good striker, and I'd agree with that because it's so tricky and creative. Like, he doesn't have the soundest fundamentals in striking. I don't want people to walk away thinking like they're going to see a pure kickboxer coming out of Jack Hermansson. That's not what we're going to see. But what is making me lean towards Vettori a little bit is Vettori kind of finds a way to figure things out, like solve problems live and in time. And I think that if he can crack the code on Hermansson, I think he can overwhelm him. For sure. I think that Vettori's a gamer, and I know Hermansson is too. And I'm not saying Hermansson's a front runner because I don't think he is, but I feel like I've seen Vettori get out of more tough situations than I've seen Hermansson get out of.
Yeah, so it'll be an interesting fight. We got to pass it on to Zach to talk about this. And man, Zach,
he's taking Jack.
Believe it or not, is going with Jack Hermansson. He does not like Jack Hermansson too much just because his boy Jacare Souza took a loss from Jack Hermansson. So Zach's got Jack Hermansson winning this one as well. So we got the lone wolf in Slick Diaz. And hey, man, let us know who you guys got in this one. We got we got Zach and me going with the underdog, and we got Slick going with the favorite. So make sure you guys are letting us know.
Don't put it like that.
So it's a pretty close fight. So hey, I guess you can't call him an underdog. It's not like he's like totally overfavored or totally underfavored. So we'll see, man. Make sure you guys are letting us know what you guys think in the comments, liking the video, subscribing to the channel. We'll see you next week for the fight picks. Make sure you guys check out the other fight pick videos.